like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some loose shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose and get.
Happy Friday, everybody. It's Friday night, and welcome to Rainy Nights with Friends. Everybody's on strike tonight, so it's just me. You got me. Tonight's theme is the ride that made me fall in love with riding. Everybody has that one ride that, you've rode for years. You could have rode, decades. And all of a sudden you take that one ride, and it's like, this is it. This is it. This is something I'll do for the rest of my life. I didn't have mine until I had been riding for almost 30 years. I'd been an avid rider, always had a motorcycle, with the exception of just a few years where I was with my first wife, who was very anti-motorcyclic. Actually, she was anti-everything that made me happy. So we won't go there tonight. But anyway, so I got back into riding with my new wife, who I've had for 26 years now. 27 if you count our dating phase. And I'm out riding one day, and the sun's perfect, the wind is perfect, everything is perfect. And I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is it. I'm in love with riding. And mine happened on an Arkansas road, riding through a rice field with bugs on the windshield, bugs on my helmet, stuff stuck to me all over. And that's when I was like, I will never not have a motorcycle ever in my life again. And that's what happened to me. Why doesn't Diana join me on the camera? She does sometimes. She likes being production crew and monitoring the chat most of the time. She does jump in every once in a while. So tonight we're going to talk about, it would improve my viewership. So we're tonight though, we're going to talk about, you guys I guess are going to have to help me, because like I said, the chat's really, really thin tonight. So I had 5 people scheduled to come, and like always, life happens. So yeah, things happen. What are you going to say? So you guys, if you want to fill in the comments there, tell me about the best ride you ever took, the best motorcycle you ever took. And while we're doing that, I'll tell you what's up with me. So everybody knows I got the Street Glide. Putting some new stuff on the Street Glide. I still have to put the fog lights on it with a switch that is been kind of janky. The switch works. It's zip tied to the bars because I can't find a place to actually knock a hole in it. I did finally get a touch, like a little touchscreen type little controller. So that's only like this big, and it'll adhere right to the dash. So I'm going to change that out probably tomorrow. I also got a new helmet. So I got to move all my cameras and stuff over to the new helmet. I've been saying I'm going to do it for like a month now, but I'll probably actually do it tomorrow. So, that's up with me. Work. That's it. I wish Diana would come on here sometimes with me and be my co-host, but she's a busy girl. Keith, welcome in. Keith says I only had an old junker motorcycle, but I sold it. So if I had to answer, it was a borrowed mini bike when I was a teenager. Yes. I mean, some of your best, rides isn't on your best motorcycle. Like I said, it's just when you're out, you're on the right road. It's the right temperature. It's the right sun. It's the right breeze. Everything's just right. And it just hits you. Christian Biker says best ride is from Southern Illinois to Eureka Springs, Arkansas, which I can see that. Worst ride, also Eureka Springs back to Southern Illinois. I can get with that because me and Dinah went up there. I want to say it was probably 5 years ago. We went up for a meetup up in Eureka Springs at the KOA in Eureka Springs. And on the way up there, I had never gone there before. I'd seen some people on video, do the ride, but they came like up top, like through Rogers and through Walnut Ridge and across the top of Arkansas. We decided to go all the way up over 40, hit Ork, Arkansas, and ride up the bottom trail, which I think is 38. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But that one was, going up. There's a bunch of 10-mile-an-hour back-to-back hairpin curves where you're hanging off the side of a mountain. And it was absolutely frightening. Frightening is the only word I can say, because there were some points, there was tractor trailers coming the other direction, and they were taking up the entire curve. And me and Diana had pushed all the way over to the shoulder, and I could actually look down my foot to the side of my foot and see down into the valley. Everybody talks about how the Tail of the Dragon is the most technical road or whatever. For me, it's not. The most technical road for me was that road coming up from Ork, Arkansas, all the way up into Eureka Springs, because if you're on Tail of the Dragon, and I've rode that way a few times just because it was just the way to go, that's the road we took, not because we meant to go that way. And if you go off the road, you run into a creek, or you run into a ditch, or you run into, you might hit the side of a cliff or something. You run off the road in Eureka Springs, you're going down a mountain, and you're going about 300 to 500 feet down the side of this cliff, and it ain't no joke. So are the roads any more curvy and twisty? No. Is the penalty for not taking that curve correctly much, much more stiff? Yes. So I can get behind that. Iowa Hog Rider says, best ride 2021 Spearfish Canyon, first ever trip to Sturgis Rally. I have still not made it to Sturgis. I don't want to go during the rally, though, for my first time. The first time I want to go, I just want to go to Sturgis like a couple of weeks before the event, or maybe a couple weeks after the event. I want to go where I can actually see the town. There's always stuff in the town. It's a small town, I get that, but I want to go not to see the rally and the bikers. I want to go to see, the Buffalo Nickel. I want to see Mount Rushmore. I want to go through Needles Canyon. I want to go through the Eye of the Needle. I want to see the cool stuff that's there, not the people that are there. So I want to go when I can actually enjoy it. And when it's not muddy. It always rains at Sturgis. I don't know why. I see everybody's videos, and it's always either super, super dusty or super muddy. And I want to go when nobody's there, where I can actually enjoy it. Iowa Hog says, don't blame you. Nobody wants to go to Illinois. Some of the worst rides I've taken were in Illinois, but also that was when I was, before I got married the first time, I was living in Illinois. I was stationed there, and I took a lot of good rides in Illinois from like Gurnee, Waukegan, up into Kenosha, up towards Eagle River. It's a great place to start trips, but there's not a whole lot to see in northern Illinois, so I can kind of get that. Brew Crew, welcome in. Brew Crew says, my best ride was on my trek at Hannah Park just outside the Mayport Naval Base. Okay. Mayport's a good place to ride around too. I like that on a bicycle. Yeah, it would absolutely be awesome. Beach ride on a bicycle, absolutely cool. Christian Biker says, I had my rear tire blow out on the way back from Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. And that's the other thing. When we went to Eureka Springs, it was windy the whole way up there, and the whole way back it rained. The whole time we were there, it rained. I guess people. Like my wife says, I bring the rain. That's just what happens. Brad lives in the southern 16th of the state. Okay, yeah. Southern Illinois is nice. So we did a lot of riding when we were in St. Louis, through Illinois, Kentucky, Iowa, Ohio, Missouri, obviously. Missouri is a great place to ride. Arkansas is a great place to ride. But yeah, the southern part is very cool. Very nice. Might be a little slow tonight, guys. Sorry about that in advance. Who wants to get on tonight? That's what I need. I need to bring some people on. Let me check on who's coming in tonight because, like I said, I had 5 people lined up to come tonight. That's how it goes, man. And plus, I got a new my phone did an update, and people aren't getting all my messages, so that kind of sucks a little bit. Iowa Hog says you got to ride the driftless area of northeast Illinois, southwest Wisconsin, southwest Minnesota. I have not rode through Minnesota. Yeah, we went up to so when we got the second BMW, we bought it. We bought a R 1100 RT, and we bought it in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. So we drove from St. Louis all the way up to Wisconsin, and rode around Beaver Dam, which is not very far from Green Bay and Appleton. We actually think we had to go through Appleton. It was on the other side of Appleton to get there. There's a huge Harley dealer there, and we went up to get the BMW, and they actually had it put in a back room because they didn't want to admit that they had BMWs there, I guess. So, but that was a great ride back down, even though we had to go back through Chicago to get home, go through the tolls and stuff, which was a little strange. I'd never gone through a toll like that. So I used to live out in Virginia Beach, and we'd rode there, and the tolls were like just throw-in tolls. It was like a nickel toll, there was a dime toll, there was a quarter toll. So you just kept a little pocket up on your bike, and you could just throw your nickel or whatever in there. I never had to ride through a toll that I actually had to stop for, and that was a little strange. So, yeah, that was a little weird. Come to think of it, I didn't like riding bikes in Chicago. And I know a lot of people do it. Michael Jordan did it. I was just not a fan. Mikey, welcome in. So while I got you guys here, yeah, keep throwing out some good places to ride. I wanted to do it this spring. I guess I'm going to have to put it off till next spring, but I still want to do Route 66 all the way out from Memphis all the way into LA. I have a lot of friends live in LA, around LA, northern California, Southern California. So I will actually eventually have to go to California on Route 66. And I know some people have loved it. Some people have hated it. Some of the roads you go through, I guess it depends on the time of year you go. Whether it's too cold, too hot, too windy, too dry, too wet, too rainy, whatever. But I mean, that's part of the fun. I mean, when you take a trip and you can just, enjoy your ride. And if a good trip, doesn't matter if it rains, snow, no, sleet, no, but rain, wind, heat. I mean, you just got to know your limits, though. You got to stop when it gets hot, stop when it gets too cold, stop when you get too wet, and you'll enjoy the ride more. We've all taken those rides that you're pressured and you got to rush and you don't have time to really enjoy things, and that sucks. The ride is always better when you can stop and enjoy your time, see things, have a good time. Take pictures, stop for food, stop for pie. And I thoroughly encourage that. If you ride the ride and never stop, yeah, you'll see cool stuff. But you just want to enjoy it as much. And that's just me. Iowa Hog Rider says he lived in Beaver Dam right out of college. So yeah. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, we bought that bike back in, we were still in St. Louis, so that must have been 2006, 2007, maybe. I think we were in St. Louis then. Yeah, we were in St. Louis then. So yeah, was a good ride though. I think having the the girl last weekend here, Angela, talking about mountain bikes. I think everybody's got into that mountain bike mode now. Pie's always good. Oh, that's my wife saying that. Well, shoot, guys, you got any questions for me? I hate this. It's gonna be such a slow night. So I did send out a bunch of texts. I'm trying to get people in. Hope I ain't boring you guys too much. If it's too boring, Dan, we can always blow it off, and maybe I'll have an impromptu one tomorrow. I want to strike up some conversation about other stuff, but man, I don't want to. The stuff that's interesting to me is probably political stuff, and I guess we shouldn't get into political stuff. You never know, and I tried to explain to somebody at the last camp out I was at. When you get into political stuff, you learn how much people hate you. So I'd rather focus on not what's political stuff, and I get it now. Politics, religion, and those will split you because I guess that's things that people don't want to falter on. So try to stay away from politics and religion and stuff. I'll talk all about being an American, and if you're offended about me talking American, sorry, man. That's not politics. That's not religion. That's just being an American, and we're all here, and we should at least something I can say. I spent 20 years in the military, and something I always thought was no matter who that you're, fighting against at the time, they love their country, and they are there because they're fighting. And it took me a long time to figure that out. When you're reading like these old World War II stories and World War I stories about whole, brigades that were facing each other, and they're like, all of a sudden they just stop fighting because they realize, man, that guy's fighting for his country, I'm fighting for mine. I always thought war, and this is young me, reading books and seeing war movies. I always thought war was about killing the other guy, and then you realize it's a whole lot more weird shit than that, and everybody's fighting for their own country, and we see now, it's like we're trying not to kill a whole bunch of people because people are finally figuring out that's not what it's about. All this politics and weird stuff is not what it's about. It's just trying to protect yourself. So, I don't know. Hope I didn't drag it down. Let's talk about motorcycles. Somebody give me a topic. What do you guys want to know? I got a new jacket for the riding season. Actually, I got it for winter, and my wife bought it for me for late Christmas present, and I loved it. Awesome jacket. But now it's getting too hot for it. It's got zippers. But you can always unzip so much on these jackets. It's a big leather. It's a really nice Milwaukee leather jacket. And I can only unzip so many zippers on it until it's just too hot. So I'm looking now for a lighter jacket that I was wearing textiles, but as you guys probably know, living anywhere where there's dirt roads and stuff, these textile jackets just fill up with dirt, and you got to constantly wash them. So I'm trying to find something I can just wipe off, or that if the dirt sticks to it, the next time you ride, it blows it off. And textiles aren't like that. These textiles and these knits. I've got 2 Revit jackets, and they're great, but the summer one is fully like woven, and it just fills up full of mud till it's a silver and white jacket, and it fills up till it turns tan, and then it slowly happens, and then one day you're looking at it and it's got black circles around the neck and black arms, and it's like, oh, I gotta wash it. So, oh yeah, hit the like. If you guys haven't hit the like button yet, there, I hit the first one. Everybody can just follow me. And hit that subscribe button. It helps with the content. Man, this channel has been really good to me because I met a lot of friends, did a lot of things. And if more likes and subscribes, the better I can, the better analytics. And like it, subscribe, share, put it out to all your friends. Let's all meet here and have a good time. A lot of times, especially on the videos, like by premieres, people will come in and they talk in the premiere side the whole video, and then after the video's over, they go back and they'll watch the videos. And so I get 2 watches out of that. That's awesome. I think these premiere chats are probably the coolest thing that's ever happened because you can get in and talk to these people that you only get to see like once or twice a year in the meetups, in the rallies. So, very cool time. Usually by now somebody would have texted me and said they're running late. I'm not getting anything tonight. I need to get a Christian biker in here sometime. Man, Jerry hadn't even popped in tonight. Wow. All right, what questions you guys got for me? I'm ex-military, been riding since I was like 8 or 9, so years and years and years, almost 40, over 45 years. That hurts to say sometimes. Hurts me in my back and my knees to say that. We should schedule a meetup. So if we have a meetup, where do you guys want to meet? I live right south of Memphis in Mississippi, and there's a bunch of state parks around the lakes between here and Starkville, Mississippi. August, I've got a meetup in Starkville, Mississippi. It's right outside Starkville. It's actually Sturgis, Mississippi, and they have a huge rally there every year. It's the third weekend in August, which is pretty fucking hot. But they've got beer carts, they've got camp out, they've got lots of trees. They've got lots of places to, if you got a trailer, there's a place to hook up your trailers and your RVs and your toy haulers and stuff. Now, about 8 miles from the camp out, Starkville has hotels and stuff you can stay in. The Bring the Rain meetup, actually, I like that. Coming in June 5th, 6th, and 7th. June 5th and 6th, I'll be in Hohenwald, Tennessee. I'll be in Hohenwald, Tennessee. Have the AMA flat track races. And then June the 7th is the Sons of Speed, Billy Lane Sons of Speed vintage motorcycle races. Steve will be there from Indy Ridge. If you guys have never met Steve, Steve will be there. So you can come up there and meet us. I'll give out stickers. I've got all these cool little keychains, key rings here. Yeah, that's me. Look at it upside down. Yep, so I've got key rings to give out. I'll have stickers to give out. If I can sell the house, the other house in Texas, I'm trying to get some t-shirts made. So, man, I'm trying to do cool stuff for this channel. I'm trying to do cool stuff for you guys. Christian Biker has almost got 400 subscribers. So if you guys haven't, go to Christian Biker's channel, subscribe. I'm going to put you up in the pin your comment here. All right, you're pinned. So let's see what else we got going on this year. Oh, so obviously there's 2 Harley dealers right next to me. I've got Southern Thunder and then I've got Bumpus. I used to spend a lot of time in Southern Thunder because it was like right near the house, but I have a good friend that's working at Bumpus now, and Bumpus has, and I hate to say that, it kind of pins me. So right beside the Harley dealer here, there was a food, like a restaurant bar type sports bar, I guess you want to call it, but it was motorcycle themed. And they sold it. Someone else bought it, and it kind of went downhill. I hate to say. So now the one up in Memphis, Bumpus Harley, has, it's called Knuckleheads. It was called Sidecar. Now it's called Knucklehead Sidecar because they have to change the name. So, and I actually got to meet the owner and his wife, who he is an absolute knucklehead, is true, dude. The dude is a motorcycle head like nobody. I did an interview with him and his wife here, like I said, about a month ago, I guess. Less than a month ago, like 3 weeks ago, I guess. And it was freaking awesome. And so I recommend you guys, if you guys aren't going to these Harley dealers that are having these meetups and these charity rides and these contests and stuff, go. It's a great chance to meet people. It's a great chance to meet other bikers. Great chance to look at some cool motorcycles. If you're, especially if you've got a channel, go to these Harley dealerships, man, and get in good with the dealerships and film on their site, film in their dealerships, film at these charity rides. And they'll let you because it brings attention to the dealership. It brings attention to these charities that they're trying to support. And if there's restaurants attached to them, they're also, really, it's a good way for them to advertise these bars and these restaurants that are next door to the dealerships. Jason Ghost, welcome in. My guitar playing Texas sister. Super Troopers 3. Man, I loved Super Troopers 1. Super Troopers 2, I kind of didn't. Super Troopers 3 hopefully will be better. So yeah, I guess I'm kind of excited about it. I did think Beer Fest was probably better than Super Troopers. And if you don't agree, that's fine. But you're wrong. Yeah, Broken Lizard made some really good movies in the early 2000s and late 2000s. So yeah, so I guess I am excited about that one. I guess so. Chasing Ghost, what have you been up to today? I'm assuming she's driving. Sick Bastard, welcome in, son. The man himself. Maybe Hey, Sick Bastard, you want to get on live with me? You need to. I need somebody to sound this off of. I'm all lonely. I'm all lonely over here, man. Nobody's playing with me today. I feel like the kid that got picked last on the kickball team. Terry, you can jump in too if you want to. If you still have if you still got the link. Anyway, any of y'all need the link? I can throw it at you. Let me throw it down in the chat real quick. Yeah, I know. I had people lined up to come in tonight, and everybody just kind of ditched on me. Maybe I pissed everybody off, and I don't know what I did. I would never obviously piss anybody off on purpose. That would be crazy. Not that I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it on purpose. Give me 1 second and I'll drop this in here. Give me 1 second and I'll drop this in here. Ah. Dropped. So Christian Bikers, have you got anybody else in since the stream started? Let's see if anybody else jumps in here. Somebody try to jump in. Maybe I've got maybe I've got the chat locked. Somebody try to pop in to the chat. Just see if you can get in. Southern Ohio does have some good riding roads. So when I was still going up to Columbus once a year, the way to get there, you go through Bowling Green, Kentucky, and you go through Florence, Kentucky, and then you're in Cincinnati. And going through Cincinnati all the way up to, and I can't remember where this valley is. I think it's on the Kentucky side, but it's called Florida Valley. And it's a huge suspended bridge, and it's over a gorge. And when you ride across this gorge, it's like looking down into the jungle. So I guess maybe that's why they called it the Florida Valley, because I know you're in Ohio, but it's just so crazy. So I love the roads up there. That's the road I got stopped on trying to take pictures, and the cop told me I couldn't stop on the bridge. But yeah, it's gorgeous. Again, we fall back to, if you can't stop and take take pictures, it just seems like you're missing. Where's Gma? Gma doesn't play with us anymore. I don't know. I guess she found better friends to play with. I guess. Jason Ghost is working tonight. I can see that. So what's the rest of you guys doing tonight? What's keeping you occupied? Me and the wife have been playing or watching Crunchyroll lately. A lot of anime. And it seems like even in the anime world, it was this way on Netflix, it was this way on Amazon, it's this way on Crunchyroll. We'll find a show we really, really like, and it's going really, really well. And all of a sudden they'll end the series. It's like, oh, cool, this is such a great show. Yeah, when's the next series coming out? Oh, this show's from like 2014. There's not a next series. And that always sucks. Christian Biker says, too much background for me to jump in. Sorry, man. Just try to jump in and see if you can. I need to know if there's something wrong with my connection. I wonder if that's why people can't get on. Somebody take one for the team. Virginia has good riding roads too. I do miss riding. When you're going through Virginia, especially like if you get it when you're leaving Virginia, go through Richmond, go around. I think it's called Lake Victoria. There's some beautiful riding roads in Virginia. I do kind of miss riding in Virginia, in Nags Head, down through North Carolina. A lot of good roads there. I used to ride a lot going into West Virginia into Beckley, up into the mountains, which is a little crazy. I don't know if you guys have ever rode on like long mountain roads is one thing, but mountain roads that wind, those are pretty cool, and they usually don't exceed maybe 5, 6, 7% grade. When you're going through the Sandstone Mountains, the roads are straight, and they're straight up, and they're straight down. And there are parts of that where, I don't know if you guys have ever seen truck runoffs, because the traffic's moving through there at 65 miles an hour, and all of a sudden you'll see a lane that goes up into the freaking valley, or up into the mountain, and it's usually filled with sand or gravel or something. And those are for runaway trucks. So educational. If you guys ever are riding through a mountain and you hear something screaming in the background and it sounds like an earthquake, it's probably a truck bearing down on you that can't stop. So when you're going down these mountains, always pay attention behind you. Don't get jammed into the radio and forget where you are, because some of these trucks, when they run out of brakes, there's nowhere to go but down. And if you're in their way, they'll apologize later if you live through it. But yeah, just keep your eyes open, because it gets very dangerous. So yeah, it's been very nice. So last week it got really warm, and then it got cold. This week started cold, and now it's back up in the 80s and it's raining. So on the way home today, I got absolutely soaked, because on the way to work this morning it was 70 degrees, and then about 2 or 3 hours after I got to work, it started raining. So that sucked. Keith Huntsman, where are you at right now? Are you in Southern Ohio right now, or are you going back to? Where are you at now, and where are you going back to? As we wait for an answer. Do you think any of you guys will be able to make it to the Sons of Speed in Hohenwald, Tennessee? So you may be close enough to go to that one. It's about an hour south of Nashville. Yeah, Chase the Ghost. We talked about that one time. Yeah, hopefully he had the wherewithal to get out of the way if he needed to. But yeah, it's not a good place to stop. All right. So Sick Bastard's trying to get in. Let's see if I can let him in. Let me see what I got to do to let him in. Lobby's on. Let's see if we can get Eric in here. Don't give up on me yet, guys. We're trying to get some more entertainment in here. Eric's much more entertaining than I am. Oh, there he is. He's coming. There he is. He's getting there. Eric, welcome in. Up. He's experiencing connectivity issues. We're getting him. We're getting him. Yeah, I think the storms are knocking everybody out. I think it's making it hard for everybody. So those of you that are late, we were talking about the best ride you ever took that made you know that riding was for you. Thoughts for first bike, which brand did and don'ts, wish you knew then, what you knew now, but still can apply to now. Thoughts for the first bike. So this is a touchy subject for a lot of riders. It's not touchy for me, but I'll just give you my opinion. It's not a very popular opinion. I think for a starter bike, you should start with a smaller bike, which an actual starter bike. Something between maybe below 300 cc's, because you learn how to handle yourself on a small bike. And then you grow from there. So a good friend of mine who also lives in Ohio started on a 250, which a lot of us started on Rebel 250s or lower. I started on a 90cc dirt bike. And that's where you learn all your practical stuff and all your handling stuff and your braking stuff and your acceleration and clutch control and all that. And if you can do it on a small bike, and here's something somebody told me. I actually had to go back after riding for 25 years. I had to go back and take the basic exam again, the basic rider course, because the military had ran out of courses for me to take. So I actually had to go back and do the basic rider course all over again. That's Eric. That's fine, man. But yeah, I had to go back and take the basic rider course again. And so at that time I was riding a BMW 1100 RT, the police bike. And I had to go back and take it on a Buell Blast, which is literally was half the weight, 3/4 of the length, and the seat height was probably 3/4 of the height. And I thought, man, this is going to be so easy on this bike. Well, you forget how when you're on a bigger bike, if you get into a curve and you need a little power to squeeze out of the curve, you just hit that throttle and it stands you back up. On a small bike, you really have to use your technique. So I dropped that bike 4 or 5 times in the 2 days we were there. And the instructor's like, yeah, if you're used to riding a big bike, you get on a small bike, any bike really. But the big thing is, like I said, if you're on a big bike, you're used to, if you hit that throttle, it stands up. On a small bike, you have to do all the leaning and stuff that they tell you to do in the basic classes. You have to learn all your basics again. You have to learn how to stop the bike, how to stay in the saddle, how to approach the clutch, And the biggest thing I learned about, I guess, is every bike is its own bike, and you can't just jump on a bike and take off. I've seen people do that. I've also seen people wreck a lot. So as far as starter bikes, start on a small bike and work your way up. Plus, if you get on a small bike that's used, you don't feel bad when you drop it. So I guess that's all I got to say about that. Which brand did and don'ts? Brands, you can't go wrong with a Honda. You can really beat the hell out of a Honda and it still just keeps taking a licking. And the Chinese bikes, everybody beats up these Chinese bikes, but man, they're actually good, 6 billion Chinamen can't be wrong. I've seen, and we've all probably seen by now, these guys that take these Chinese bikes that cost $1,000 or less and just beat the hell out of them. And I've seen one guy, so if anybody watches Matt, what's the guy's name? He's a younger guy. He just buys stuff. How this dude got money, I don't know. But he'll buy a bike in Alaska, buy it in like southern Alaska, ride it all the way up to Dead Horse, Alaska. And he's done it on cruiser bikes, sport bikes, dirt bikes. And he does it right out of the box. He'll get on it and ride it full speed, highway speeds all the way up to the northern part of Alaska. And they just keep on ticking. Except for the sport bike because rims are crap. But, any bike you get to start on, get a cheap bike, ride the shit out of it. And if it survives, sell it to somebody else and use that money to buy you a better bike. The good thing about a used bike, if you buy a brand new bike and it costs you $25,000, you keep it for a year and you sell it, you're probably going to lose probably a quarter of the price on that bike. If you get a used bike for $4,000, you keep it for a year, 2 years, 3 years, you can still probably sell it for $4,000. You're going to get all your money back. So, don't sleep on the used bikes. The price really never goes down. Royal Enfields are also good bikes. And also, I tell you, the Royal Enfields they were making 20 years ago are not the Royal Enfields they're making now. We have, where I work, there's 2 Indian guys that came in from India. And they, of course, yesterday I rode the Sportster, and today I rode, the Street Glide. And they love motorcycles, and they're over there taking pictures of the bikes. And they're like, man, I wish we could have bikes this big down there. Unless you can't have bikes big. And they're like, and of course, we've all seen it, there's not a whole lot of road down there. And there's not a lot of room on the roads. So when these guys ride, the smaller the bike, the better. And they'll get a 150 or something, and they can fit 3 or 4 people on it, plus all their luggage and groceries. A couple of yaks and some goats and a bale of cheese. These bikes, man, they're unstoppable. They're absolutely awesome. So, Chasing Ghosts is talking about the beginner ride mode. We saw the Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman show where beginner cars overseas are regulated. So kids that are under 18, they have these awesome cars and stuff that their moms and dads are buying them, but they're regulated down where they can't go over 30 miles an hour. And just crazy to me. Here in America, they think it's freaky that we can go get a learner's permit, go right out and buy a 1,000cc motorcycle and kill ourselves on it. Because over in Europe, they have horsepower as their limiting factor. They'll start with a trainer license. I think the lowest is like 12 horsepower. Then you can move up to 36, and then you move up to, something bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, America's weird in that we don't have. Everybody by now has probably seen the video where the big Silverado jacked up truck runs over a Lamborghini because this woman that's so small she can't even see over the steering wheel. She runs over a frickin' Lamborghini, and somebody raised the point: why can you go out, take your driver's test in a Pinto or a little Fiat, something that has 86 horsepower, and go straight into a truck that's with 44-inch tires that weighs 8,000 pounds and run over all your neighbors? So yeah, you can't. I mean, again, you can outgrow anything, but as far as a beginner bike, I don't think you can. 250s have all the power you need. As a highway bike, no, I wouldn't get on an 80-mile-an-hour highway and go on a 250, but I've seen people that did. When you're talking about being a beginner, you're not going to get on a beginner bike and get on the highway. You shouldn't. You absolutely shouldn't. And I think that's why a lot of bikers get killed, because they get out and say, look, I've got to learn from it. Me and my buddies are all going to go out riding. And you haven't learned all your basics yet. You haven't learned. Just because you've gone through the MSF course does not mean you know everything. And I'm trying not to preach to the choir here, but that's what gets you killed, is when you believe you know everything. That's when you get on the highway and somebody's going to prove you wrong. And I hope I don't offend anybody for saying that, but I was just seeing too many people. Me and Diana, so after my first big motorcycle wreck, the Honda dealership we went to, I went down looking for a new motorcycle, and the dealer told us a guy came in, was looking for a sport bike, and they ran his credit. They didn't even have a license. So in Arkansas, you don't even need a license to buy it. It is the company rule for that dealership. They won't let you ride it off the lot without a license. So the dude, they ran his credit. He passed the credit check. So they're like, man, this dude's talking about, he immediately, never even got having been on a motorcycle. He wants to jump on the bike, do wheelies. He wants to learn how to do burnouts. He wants to ride with his friends and learn how to do stunt rides. Having never even been on a bike. Arkansas at that time, you did not need a endorsement to ride on the highway. But the dealership did require one for you to ride. So the dealer told the guy, all right, well, you can't ride it out of here. Your friend has to ride it for you. And the dealer told me this. He said the guy rode the bike home for him, didn't even turn the bike off, put it on the kickstand. The other dude jumps on that bought it, rides, and within 50 feet ran into a tree and killed himself. I'm a big proponent of beginner bikes. A big proponent. Now, if you're lucky, you've got a good person that will teach you, that will watch over you and teach you all those basics. There's just too many guys, though, that will just jump on a bike and ride. And again, that's half the wrecks around here are guys who don't have a license. And they always come out and say it. As soon as I see one of these guys, there's an intersection right by the Harley dealership. And there's always wrecks there because people want to go to bike night. They want to go to the charity stuff, and they don't have a license. And they get out there, and I think one of the most important things you can learn is drinking and driving will impair you, especially on a motorcycle. In a car, you're using maybe one hand and a foot. That's all you need. On a motorcycle, you need both hands, both feet, and there's a couple different places you have to put your feet. Your hands are doing different things. Your hands are all over the place. And when you start drinking and you're impaired, you're immediately impaired. You're twice as impaired as somebody that's in a car because you have to be doing twice as many things on a motorcycle. Keith, if you look further up, I put it up in the chat, maybe about 20 comments up. Yeah, I think Sportsters are a great learner bike because it's big enough to get you out of trouble. It's big enough to get on the highway. It's big enough to do a lot of cool stuff on, but it's also tame enough when you make it tame because it's got a longer throw. It's tame enough that you won't get out there and kill yourself trying to do low speed maneuvering. It is a good learner bike. Bleak just came in and said it is his wife's birthday today. Bleak just got married. He says, wife's birthday, I totally get it. He can't make it in. Let me tell him it's fine. All right, I'm going to pin the comment. All right, I have pinned the link. Let's see who can get in here. Yeah, when we lived in Arkansas, I had a learner's permit. If you're over 18, you can ride it on a motorcycle learner's permit by yourself. If you're under 18, you need to be with somebody that's over 18 riding with you. Kind of like in a car, it's the same way. Where we live now, it's over 18 and it's got to be a family member. So at least it's a little bit better. Yeah, if you're riding with your buddies and they're trying to teach you, you're going to be limited by what your friends know. So if your friends have never learned things like how to push a bike over, how to lean into the curb, how to move your butt around on a bike, you're not going to be any better off. Sorry to say. One thing I wish I knew when I first started riding, it probably would have saved me a whole bunch of accidents, is you will never, no matter how small that bike is, you'll never be able to ride that bike to its full potential. The thing that's going to limit that bike is always going to be you, not the motorcycle. So when I had the BMW, so that K16 had 168 horsepower, would go 185 miles an hour. And you cannot use all those horsepowers. And if you can get it up to 185 miles an hour, good luck with you. But people were always wanting to put a Brenne tune on it. They wanted to put the aftermarket exhaust on it to get more horsepower out of it. And it's like, what are you going to do with more than 168 horsepower on a two-wheel motorcycle? You will never use the 168. And like I said, I've been riding for 45 years. I never used all 168 horsepower out of that thing. And I have done some shady, questionable shit on that motorcycle. But there's nothing that a beginner or even somebody who's been riding a few years is going to be able to do on that motorcycle that you need more than 168 horsepower on. The thing I wish I would have learned a long time ago is ride the bike. Don't try to command the bike. You'll never boss that bike around. There's a popular trainer who runs a course called Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle. You'll never be the boss of that motorcycle. You come to a comfortable understanding with that motorcycle, and that's about as good as you can get. Be humble. Be humble when you're on the motorcycle. Yeah, you'll outgrow 250, but remember that's where all of your skills are going to be learned, is on a bike that is small enough that you actually have to use your skill to ride it. And then I go back to that Buell Blast. Harken that back to, let's say, anybody that's played sports ever, football drills. You never outgrow those football drills. Anybody that rides or plays a guitar. Your training drills, your finger drills, you always fall back on. Even though they seem kind of dumb and simple and stupid, that's what you fall back on. Fall back on the basics. And sometimes you need something that'll make you go back to those basics. Every morning when I leave, so I live at the end of a boulevard and I have to do a U-turn at the end of the boulevard to make it out. So every morning, basically, I'm practicing my U-turns. Some mornings I'm really great at that U-turn. Some mornings I take up the entire street on that U-turn. So, yeah, a man got to know his limitations. Do you feel lucky? Do you? Yeah, so when I get to the end of the street and I make that U-turn, it reminds me I'm not going to be the boss ass motorcycle rider I am every day. There's days I'm going to be less skilled than other days, and I have to remind myself to keep my skills up. All right, I think Keith is trying to get in. Keith, are you able to get in? What else you guys got? What you need to know? What do you want to know? Ask me some questions. Hit me up. As I drink my, this is Jameson. It's triple. If you have it, it's a 3 cask whiskey. And I promise you it was better than I thought it would be, and it's probably one of the better whiskeys I've had in probably 20 years. And I've had some good whiskeys. I've done a lot of whiskey tastings. I've gone to Jack Daniels and did their Angel Shelf Tour tasting. And this is probably one of the better whiskeys I've ever had. Is a Jameson triple. Ghost says any idiot can go fast. Going slow is hard. Dirt bike is awesome. Slow speed skills, working your clutch and brake, balance. Dirt bike is good for that. Just don't hit a tree. Hitting trees sucks. It doesn't matter if you're on a dirt bike or a big bike. But I harken back a lot to, especially when I'm riding in the rain. It's big surprise I do. When the bike gets out of control, I fall back to those dirt bike skills, because riding in the wet, riding on gravel is a lot like riding on mud and riding on dirt, riding on a slick terrain. And you fall back to those days on a motorcycle, which, a dirt bike's easy to hold up. But you learn those slow speed skills, you learn those sliding skills, you learn the traction control skills. Because when that bike goes to fall over and you're using your techniques to catch it, I promise you, if that bike's going to slide down, you're not going to catch that bike. If you are, good on you. But it's so much easier to use the skills just to keep that bike up and never put your feet down. That's what will save you most of the time. And those skills, when you learn those skills, your reaction will actually save that bike before you even realize you're doing it. And then you go, oh, I just saved the bike. I didn't even know I did. And if you've had one of these incidents ever happen to you, you understand what I'm saying. When you're riding along and all of a sudden you hit a slick spot and your body all automatically does that butt slide and that press and hold. And then, yeah, panic will kill you. Absolutely. So again, that's when you want to have enough training that you automatically will compensate, and it takes just little movements. If you panic and overcompensate, you're going down. If you've trained enough and you can compensate automatically just a little bit to save the bike, you're going to be so much better off. Sterling Will, welcome in. I don't know if Sterling's driving or not. At the bottom of the chat here, I have the link if anybody wants to jump in. Help me save the chat, since I had so many no-shows tonight. You guys remember last week when Biker Girl from Southern California says, oh, all you got to do is tell me and I'll show up. This is actually her topic tonight, and she didn't show up for it. So everybody, if y'all see her in the chat, you see her on her Instagram, rub it in her face that she didn't show up. Because I'm gonna. I don't know. Keith, are you trying to put the app in, or are we just hanging out? Okay, that's fine, Keith. Rear shock, no way. I actually had to, the wishbone in the back of mine, there was a recall on it. And they kept calling it something else. Yeah, they called it ESA something. And what it actually was is just the wishbone that holds the rear suspension up, and it's like this long. Had been cracking on some of the models under heavy load. They took mine out. It was faultless. They said it had not been tempered. They had a lot of them that didn't get tempered correctly. So this part is like $80. The bike was out of commission for 3 weeks waiting for them to change it out. And then when they pulled mine out, they said mine was fine, but they changed it anyway. So that's when I had to, this was 3 years ago, and I've mentioned before where I had to make the Sportster in the middle of winter. I had to make the Sportster my main motorcycle because I didn't have another bike. And I don't have another car. I give my car away. The car I had, if the weather gets bad, I got to borrow my wife's car because she's the only one that has a car. I've got 3 motorcycles. 2 of them run great. Don't ask about the Kawasaki. But so yeah, for a whole winter, I had to put a fairing. That's the main reason I put the fairing on the Sportster. I had to put heated grips on it, which if you don't know how, and by the way, I've got a pair of heated grips for sale for a Sportster. I could probably put them on my bike too. And we'll talk about that later. And yeah, for a whole winter, I rode the Sportster as a winter bike, and I was riding it 45 minutes to work in the snow and ice and rain and whatever. The funny thing is, I rode through the snow and ice a lot on that Sportster. Never went down. Sportster is actually an awesome bike for hazardous weather, even though it doesn't have ABS. Jeez, Jason goes, that sucks. Sterling, you say you need a scan tool. You don't say. I have 2. And it's not the BMW GS911 one. It's one I got offline. And I've actually been using it on my Grand America. I used it from 2019 until I sold it like 6 months ago. If you can't find it, that actually is one of my biggest videos is telling people how to use a scan tool that doesn't cost $500. And so when I did that scan tool video, I had people tell me that I was faking it. That I showed them the engine check engine light and the service timer light that came on, and then I cleared it with the little $40 OBD MX motorcycle code reader, and then I started everything back up and the codes were gone. I had people telling me that I was faking it. I must have stopped the camera, took it to BMW, had them clear it, and then started the video again. I'm like, dude, I'm not that good and I'm not that patient. Absolutely not. So Sterling will, yeah, next time you come through, I have 2. And I'll give you the one that I don't think I'll ever use again. One of them you can do everything on, and then the other one will clear your codes and it will reset your mileage and your date timer, and you can actually look at all your codes. I know the only reason I'm going to keep the one is because I know I'll still be working on people's bikes. I will never stop doing that. I am still I'm not upset, but I wish I would have gotten to ride Sterling's bike when I was down at the camp out. That camp out was just, dude, it was whack. It was crazy. A lot of hectic stuff going on. People were a little weird down there. I had fun though. Right up until my tent flooded, I had a lot of fun at the camp out. Ghost, where are you stuck at? And is anybody still trying to jump in? Maybe I should bring my wife in here. Yeah, if enough of you guys pressure her, maybe she'll come in here. Have her pull a chair up. guys got any questions for me? Any at all? Bueller. Yeah, Razor Gator, I have given serious thought to. So the Kawasaki I have has no electronics. I mean, it's got EFI, but I recommend. Tell you what, Sterling. After the chat, I'll actually drop that video again, and it has the link to it and everything. But I just got a cheap OBD off of Amazon. It was $40 to buy the program for it directly from BMW. Was like $7. So for $47, I could get anything done on the bike that I needed done. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see this. Let's see if I can give it time to fall into chat. So this is the one from Amazon I got, OBD Link MX Plus from Amazon. It was not $139 then. The price has gone up, obviously. So this is the one I got. They're saying, pardon my French. So this is the one I got, and they're saying that it's currently unavailable. That's actually one I have. The program from Amazon for that was free, and then I said the $8 enter program through everything else was $7 from BMW. Again, that was back in 2019, but so it's probably maybe I might be $10 now. I don't know. But even at $159, like the one that is available now, that's still cheaper than, the OBD from BMW is called the GS 911. And that one is like, it was $500 back in 2019. So it's probably $600 or $700 now. So you're still saving money. The Fat Bob is for sale. How do you make up your mind whether to sell the Lowrider or the Fat Bob? Lowrider is the one I see you on most of the time. Yeah. I always wanted a Fat Bob. Ghost, what year is that Fat Bob? Joe the Mountain Jedi, he's usually busy on Fridays. So being that it's summer, the Ride Factory is doing a lot of work. Dwight, welcome in. So yeah, Joel will tell you, I mean, he has told me, summer at the Ride Factory, early spring in the Ride Factory, riding season in the Ride Factory, he works himself to death. So I'll still try to get him in on a Friday night, but yeah, he's busy. He's a busy man. (2022) Fat Boy. So who's looking for a 2022 Fat Boy? Sheila says she's on her way. See, she forgot about me. That's what happens. This was her theme. All right, when she gets in, we're all going to beat her up hard. Rockford Fosgate. So yeah, Sterling's bike has the Rockford Fosgate. I think that's what they were putting on all of the BMW on the R18s. Oh, you're doing it right now. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, be nice. Of course I'm going to be nice. Why would I not be nice, geez? I know it looks like these pictures are crooked. This one? Wait, this one. Yeah, there we go. It's not. It's straight. It's just somehow the way this thing shoots the like worldly image because the world is round and stuff. Marshall. Oh, it's Marshall, not Rockford. Gotcha. Oh, Harley's the one that pushes the Rockford Fosgate. That's right. I should know that because when I went to the last charity ride at Southern Thunder, they had a bunch of Rockford Fosgate stickers and sunglasses and backpacks and writing pads and all kinds of stuff. I should know these things. Speaking of which, I got some sunglasses and stickers and patches to give away. Keith, welcome in.
Hey, it's working.
It's working. You made it. Great. It's not
like-
just me anymore.
What's that?
Great. It's not just me anymore.
Yeah, there we go. I usually do. I'm comfortable because I usually do everything alone. So small crowds are more for me. Well, sorry I have to pop in when there's no one around, but nice to meet you.
No, it's good. I love it. This is good. We get to talk more about you. So,
yeah, before we start, I'm on the phone, so I have to learn all this. Am I looking into the camera?
you're doing perfectly. So that's my
Okay.
thing. My screen is here. My camera's up here. So I just kind of keep having to go back and forth. So it doesn't matter. We can see you. So tell us a little bit
Okay,
about
cool.
yourself. What kind of bike you got? What kind of bike you want to get?
Oh.
How you got into riding?
Well, I don't have. Well, here's what happened. I don't have the motorcycle. The only one I had was a 1979 Yamaha. What was it called? XS 750 XS Special. It was a 3-cylinder, and it had a didn't have a chain on it. It had the solid drive.
The shaft.
Whatever it's called. Drive shaft. Yeah, that's it. And I got that. I met a guy when this was back. See, how old was I then? Well, it was back in the 80s, actually. Well, might have been. I don't know. When were you born?
70.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I think this was maybe around, I don't know, 1984, 85 or so. A guy that I worked with, he didn't want it anymore. It was a bike that came from California, and he moved here to Ohio, and we ended up working together. But anyway, he didn't want it, and I took it off his hands for a little bit. It had been wrecked and it had been burned, and to get it running a little better, I ended up putting in a whole wiring harness for it. I think I took apart the forks and tried. It was strange. I don't know what the heck was wrong with this bike. You could just be driving along, and all of a sudden it would start pulling to the side, and you couldn't steer it or anything until you slow down to where you slow down enough and you were able to take control of it. So I'm not sure what that was. That was kind of sketchy.
Yeah, that sounds like either steering head bearings or maybe your lock was partially on the steering lock.
Well, yeah. I did put those bearings in, those head bearings, race bearings, or whatever they're called, and then I replaced the fluids in the forks. But then, of course, I didn't know what I was doing either. I was just learning and all that. And so I kept that a while. And then another guy that I met through someone that I worked with at a new job, and he liked collecting all these older bikes and tinkering with them and all that. So I sold that to him, and that's about the only time I rode on a bike. I remember being younger. I had, like I mentioned in the chat, a borrowed mini bike type of thing, but that was real fun, right? Racing
You
around,
get a lot out of mini bikes.
pissing off the neighbors.
Dude, I've had my best times on an 80 and a 90. I mean, they're fun.
So, but yeah, I guess maybe when I first actually liked bikes and felt that I'd really want to was back even when I was in grade school. My older sister, she dated a guy that had a Triumph, and I think it was in the bike was in the '60s, but I don't know which one it was, what model it would have been, but it was in the '60s. I guess maybe like a 650 Bonneville Trident or something like that.
Trident was an
But I
awesome
guess,
bike.
yeah, so that's probably when I first knew that I wanted to ride bikes and everything, or motorcycles and all that.
I had a friend, his dad had the Triumph Trident, and that thing was so badass. It was a literal chopper
Yeah.
right out of the. It was just beautiful bike. The Triumph was the Trident was the chopper looking one. The Bonneville was like the flat back American style little, like a standard cruiser. But yeah, that Trident.
Which one was?
The Bonneville was like the flat back, like had a bench type straight seat. And
I think that's what this was. Yeah, it wasn't a chopper, right?
yeah, the Trident. If you've ever seen them, it was a 650 also, but it just looked fast standing still. It had the stretch front forks, and was kind of a lean back. Had high handlebars. It was pretty badass.
Ah, okay, yeah, yeah. It wasn't like that. This one was more like the classic looking one, or whatever.
Yeah. So Bonneville or the America probably.
Ah, okay, yeah. Hey, quick question on this stuff, because I'm going to have to go through this app later. Am I able to see the chat room or anything?
You can.
Or
So
how does-
on the phone, it's hard to see. So the chat room, I usually open up like YouTube on a separate. Like I have my laptop here, so I've got my shingle
Says
over here.
Biker Girl.
See, I've got my shingle over here that I open up Amazon or YouTube on, and then I can open up on my phone or on
Oh, you took it away.
another pad. But it's I just wrecked it
I
myself.
didn't push anything. I don't want to start
Oh no, you're fine.
tapping anything and then boot myself out.
If you do, you get the link now. You can always come back. Biker Girl, welcome in.
I'm sorry I'm late. I was out of town-ish, kind of.
Well,
Oh.
we'll forgive you this time.
Did you guys talk about my topic?
What topic?
The topic I chose for this week.
Oh, the topic you chose and then didn't show up for?
That's the one.
My wife told me don't pick on you about that, but I was like, I kind of have to
What do you mean?
because you didn't show up for your own topic.
She told you not to pick up?
She told me don't pick on you,
Oh, you shouldn't pick on me.
but I'm like, I kind of have to.
You shouldn't do that because,
I'm totes
you
gonna.
shouldn't.
Well, it's your topic, so jump right in.
Wait, excuse me. What's the topic again?
When did you know that you wanted to ride the ride that make me fall in love
That's the
with
topic.
riding?
Yeah, that's the topic.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The ride that made me fall in love with riding. So go for it, girl. You're here. Late.
Yeah, I
but I
already
mean,
mentioned mine.
Oh, am I cutting off or is someone else cutting off?
you're hanging up. You're not hanging up, but you're sticking. Yeah, you're lagging. Just give it time. Give it time to catch up.
It seems okay on mine.
There you are. I think you're okay now.
Was it me?
Your picture was just sticking, but you're good now. So go ahead. What ride made you fall in love with riding?
I think for me it was my turkey ride.
In Turkey?
Yeah, in Turkey, not in a Turkey.
Or well, it could have been a Thanksgiving ride. They have turkey rides here. So tell us about it.
I think, yeah.
What's
so
a turkey
basically,
ride?
Huh?
What's a turkey ride? I'm new. I don't have a bike right now.
I found out about this motorcycle convention in Turkey, and it's supposedly, a Harley convention. So I'm like, oh, that sounds fun. I have a friend there. I went to go visit him. He rides, and we are like, yeah, let's just go, and it was like all the way on the other side of the country. So it was a cross country ride. So we rode, and Turkey is like a pretty small country. We were on the other side of the country within like 11 hours. So the thing is, like, I wasn't initially supposed to ride. I was just supposed to be in the back, right? But this friend drives so crazy that it scared me so much that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna rent my own bike, or I won't be able to. I won't last like 10, 11 hours on the back. I was so scared. I have zero control. So he's like, well, I got like a 250. I got a Honda CB 250R. And I'm like, 250? That's not going to take me cross country. What? But it did. It totally did. And it was so much fun. And it was so beautiful, especially when we were like around the Uludağ area, which is like by Bursa. And it's gorgeous. The mountain roads there are so beautiful. So that's the ride where I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then we got to the motorcycle convention, and I didn't see one single Harley there. And I was like, what? It's a bunch of cruisers, but there's like not even one Harley. And my friend goes, what are you talking about? They're all Harley. And I'm like, and then I learned that in Turkey, when you say Harley, you're actually describing any cruiser.
Yeah.
And I was like, how could you call this a Harley convention? There's not a single Harley there. Maybe a Honda Davidson. That's like the closest thing you would find, but nothing.
It was like in the South, we call everything's Coke. So you go to a restaurant. What do you want? Coke? What kind? Sprite?
I thought you meant like Coke and Pepsi, but even Sprite is Coke.
If it has fizz, it's a Coke.
That's funny.
But then you have root beer. Root beer is root beer, but everything else is a Coke or a cola or a soda. Now soda's up north, but yeah, everything. When I grew up in Texas, so what do you want? Coke? What kind? Dr. Pepper. It's like saying Xerox or saying truck.
In LA, it's very specific. I mean, if you say I want a Coke and they only have Pepsi, they will tell you we only have Pepsi. We don't carry Coke.
Well, they do that here now too. But yeah, growing up in Texas, though, it was very general purpose. If you asked for a Coke, you'd get a soda that was brown. Whatever they had, that's what they'd bring you.
When we say something, we always start off with pop. We say pop.
Pop.
Yeah. And then we go
Where are
for.
you from, Keith?
I'm in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland. Okay.
So yeah, northern. So. Yeah.
So are you near the lake?
Yeah, I'm actually I'm about 5 to 10 minutes from the shoreline of Lake Erie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just west of Cleveland.
That's a pretty lakefront there. It's expensive to live on the lakefront too. We were watching one of these house shows, and they were in a condo. And this condo was like a little bit bigger than my living room and the kitchen combined, and it was like $500,000. It was like small. Anything on the lake, you're gonna pay through the butt for.
It's like living in San Francisco.
So, Biker Girl, the only parts of Turkey I've ever been in is Ederek, Karagak, and Antalya.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
So the only parts of Turkey I've ever been in is Antalya and Atarat Karagak.
So it was actually the bike convention was it in Antalya or was it in I don't remember. Yeah, I think it was Antalya.
It's a seaport.
No, it wasn't. It was on the other side. I have to recheck where I went. But yeah, I've been to Antalya. Antalya is gorgeous. Beautiful.
I loved it. We went mountain climbing there.
Bodrum is also beautiful. Very touristic though. And Istanbul, of course, everybody knows Istanbul is gorgeous. Yeah, Turkey has so many like beautiful areas. It's insane. Like I would want to live there just for like the scenery, but I would be making like $0. So
Well, I mean, we were there. I think beers were 50 cents a piece. Food was like nothing. I mean, you huge meals for like $3. It's a seaport, so there's lots of fish, lots of rice, lots of vegetables, and yeah, I
the
loved.
fish sandwiches by the ocean.
Yeah, I
Oh,
loved it. The grouper was probably most likely caught the same day. So we went in Egypt. We went on a diving tour, and the divers while you're out there diving with them, they're also spearfishing, and then when they drop guys off by the shore, they're also pearl diving. But they were coming up with these groupers, man, that were like 30, 40 pounds. And we took our break in the middle of the day, and they're like they're filleting all the fishes. The dive master keeps bringing up the fish, and the guy up on top is filleting them stuff, putting them away. So we come up for lunch, and he makes this big rice meal, and he grills up this grouper, and then he tells us all get out of the water. So we're out of the water, and he's like, okay, nobody in the water for 30 minutes. So we're thinking, like grandma tells you, don't go back in the water for 30 minutes. No, they start throwing all the food left over and the guts all back into the water.
oh,
And first little fish start coming up, and then bigger fish come up, and then these groupers come up. And I swear to God, these groupers were like over 100 pounds. They were huge. They were like this wide. You can't even see my hands, but like they're like this wide across the back, and they're probably 3 to 4 feet high and probably 5 feet long. They were huge. And we're like, what the hell? And but he's like, yeah, no, don't go back in the water until all the food and the guts, get eaten up and moved back, just in case there's a couple of sharks. I'm like, sharks?
that's amazing. That's such a smart
Yeah,
thing.
you'd be
Because
the
you
food.
keep the fish coming, and you don't waste food because the fish eat the food. So that's such a smart way to like
Yeah,
get rid of waste.
and it does bring the fish up where we can see them. So we got our sightseeing tour. That was the same tour that I'm down in the water. Something starts pulling at my fin, and I look back, and there's a wolf eel, probably 8 feet long, pulling at my fin, and I freak out. So I head straight for the surface, man. I didn't time out nothing. I went straight up. And I got up on the boat, and I'm like, dude, there's a freaking eel in the water. And he's looking down and goes, oh, yeah. So he takes a few pieces of fish, and he jumps in and goes down, and he's feeding this eel. And I'm like, what the hell? When my flipper finally comes up, he's like, oh, yeah, he no attack you. He just wants to eat. And I'm like, yeah, I bet he wants to eat. He's like, no. He comes out. And they're, again, a wolf eel is beautiful. I mean, they're gorgeous fish. And it's actually, the wolf eels they're big, but they're kind of like the Labrador or the St. Bernard of the eel world. They're very docile. They're calm. They're just big. Compare that to a moray who wants to attack everything on sight. But they're very cool. I mean, scary. They're still scary. I mean, if you've never been around a dog and you walk up to a St. Bernard, you're sure that it's going to eat you. And all it wants to do is lick your face. So yeah, this moray eel just wanted to lick this wolf eel just wanted to lick my face, I guess. I just didn't want him to. That's all. But he's like,
Don't those eels electrocute you or something?
No, the electric ones do. So the African electric eels, they'll electrocute you. It's the shallow water ones and the mangrove ones that have electric. That's and there may be some deep water ones, but the only ones that I've ever seen that actually will shock are like ones in shallower water. So like up,
expert over here.
huh?
You're like an eel expert over here.
Well, when you're gonna jump in water with them, you spend a lot of time in the water. You learn what's gonna hurt you and what's not. So you gotta, look out what to look out for.
Hey, do you do that stuff called noodling?
No,
Noodling?
no. You don't know about noodling? So fish on slow rivers will get up by the bank and they basically wait for food to pass them and they eat it. So they get under a log or something and they'll get, up on the banks and stuff. And it's catfish most of the time, like big Appaloosas or yellow belly. And they just eat whatever passes through the current. And they just get so big, they don't move. So noodling, you'll actually put your hand down there and they're down there with their mouths open. And so you just like put your hand in there, find an open mouth, you stick your hand in it, and then when they go to close their mouth, you grab their gills and pull them out. So noodlers will always, even though the fish itself doesn't have a lot of teeth, their gills are super sharp. So noodlers will always have their arms cut up, a lot of scars on their arms because the
Why would
gills.
they do that?
That's, dude, I don't know, man. Southern people are fucking nuts. They do it. I don't know. It's a hobby. I mean, look at us. We're on machines that go over 100 miles an hour, and we yee-haw and whoop the whole time.
I'd rather do that than have my hand bit off by a.
People have their hobbies, and their hobbies are dangerous. Otherwise, why do it? If it's not going to be fun and have some danger to it, why do it?
Our hobby does not have.
It doesn't.
No.
I know some people that would disagree with you.
I know a couple too.
This girl, again, I fall back to this girl that split her face open. She's still. And what's funny is the girl had a cool channel before this. Since she busted her face open, she's gotten like 10 times the subscribers now because now everybody wants to know her story because she's got the huge scar all the way across her face. And so everybody's going to her channel because they want to hear her story. So she's gotten big. Yeah, and she says she'll never ride without a helmet again. She's 100% helmet authority now. She'll tell you.
She's
But-
an advocate.
Yeah, you just learn things as you go. Like I said, you learn. If you do the same thing over and over again and don't learn from it, you're just an idiot. All of us are going to make that one thing that we swore was absolutely safe, can't hurt us. This will never hurt me, and then it actually hurts you. The first time it hurts you, it's like, okay, that was a fluke. Maybe I did something wrong. The second time, you're like, you know what? Maybe I should do something differently. So we all learn from our mistakes. Are we going to stop doing stupid things? No. Are we going to try to do the stupidest things a little bit smarter? Probably. So, yeah, we'll never stop doing the stupid things because stupid things are fun. We all know this. So, yeah, but you learn to do them more safely. It's what we call risk control in the military.
It's funny. Every time I have an accident, my husband makes me wear gear, and then I phase it out after a month or so. And he's like, "You still haven't learned to wear gear, and blah blah blah. How many accidents have you been in?" And it's like, I hate it. I don't like wearing it. And he's like, I give up. And I'm like, oh no, now he's disappointed. Now I have to. I'm being guilted into it. So what I do is I phase it out. I wear it, and I'm like, hey, look at me. I'm wearing my gear. And then I slowly just phase it out. One time we went to Solvang. I never leave my helmet on the bike, ever. Whenever I go anywhere, always take it with me. I left my gear on the bike, hoping that someone would steal it, so I don't have to wear it back. But nobody wanted it.
Is it ugly? Do you have ugly gear?
No, it's like a skeleton armor gear. So it's mesh, it's breathable, it has it's just man. I don't like gear.
I
have a
used to.
Dynasty jacket that I don't like. It was like a $1,200 jacket that I wore maybe twice, and now I'm letting my friend's girlfriend borrow it.
I used to like mesh, and I was talking about it earlier. So I've got some Revit jackets. I've got a summer jacket, and then I've got the winter jacket. Leather. I like leather so much more in this engineered skin because it's smooth. Mesh gear collects so much, especially where I live is Mississippi, so it's dusty. There's a lot of clay around. There's lots of bugs. You can never get all the bugs out of mesh gear. The small little gnats and the aphids and stuff, and the love bugs and stuff. Once they're inside the mesh, never comes out. I've washed that silver. It's silver. It's silver and white, and it's starting to turn tan. But I've probably got bug legs stuck in that mesh from years ago because they just never come out. I love leather so much more. Leather, yeah, it looks cool. It makes you look very hip and stylish and stuff, but it's also very practical. Well, for like, well, in the summer, in the winter, in the winter it's good. In the summer, you've got to find something else. So usually I go with a flannel, or I go with the fly fishing, or so if you go to a sporting goods store, you go to the fishing area where the fly fishing is and where the boating area is. They sell these micro weave shirts, and they're full coverage. They're also like SPF 50, SPF 70, SPF 80. So they'll keep you from getting burnt, but they'll also shield you.
Yeah.
So if you fall, again, it's nothing's going to beat good gear, but anything's better than falling on fresh asphalt. So
No, what are they called again?
they're micro mesh. They're called fisherman shirts. And the best one I've got is actually a button up that I got from a company that I used to work for. It's super, super light. It's almost like a parachute pants material, but it's got an underweave on it that's kind of fluffy. So it stays cool. It keeps the wind off of you, but it also keeps the sun off of you. And it's like super, super light. If I can get my wife, if she's watching, to bring it in, I'll show it to you. It's hanging on the back of the chair, dear. Yeah. So maybe she'll bring it. Christian Biker says, I won't ride on ice again. I will. I'll be much more careful about it. I'll try not to get on ice again. Ice, again,
There are these guys on Instagram that actually made tires for the ice,
yeah,
and it looks like a giant saw.
yeah.
You know, those round saws, and it just looks like that. And there's two of them for the bike, and they go on like frozen lakes and stuff, and they just ride on. It looks so cool. It looks so fun.
Yes, snow tires and ice tires. I used to follow a guy. He was called Ride the Bean. He was a coffee guy. He owned a coffee shop, worked in a coffee shop. But in the winter, he's up in Norway. And in Norway, once there's ice on the roads, there's ice on the roads. There's no getting it off. There's no plowing it. There's no getting it off. Because even when they plow, just the wind blowing will refreeze. All the moisture in the air just goes straight down because they're on like a mountain. So there's plenty of moisture and it just keeps falling down the mountain. So they put studs in their tires and screws. And they keep the screws in all winter long. And at the end of the winter, they take them off. And he was commenting one time, he says, there's so much ice there that he's used the same ice tires for the last 3 years. And he's changed his spring, summer, fall tires. He's changed those like 4 or 5 times. But the tire actually never touches the asphalt on the ice tire. So he can keep using the same one.
Wedge itself into the tire. And
No, they screw in. They're almost like cleats on. If you ever play golf.
I've gotten screws in my tires before.
No, these actually go in backwards. They have a core screw that actually screws into the tire, and then the part that sticks out almost is like just a bit of a nail head. It's just enough to bite into the ice. It's not like a long nail sticking out. It's just enough to, yeah. The tire itself is thicker because you screw the screw into it. They're made for putting studs in.
Interesting.
But yeah,
I didn't know there was even winter bike tires.
for places that it's again summer where he's at, his summer is like 60 degrees Fahrenheit. It never gets really any hotter.
Oh, that's so sad.
Well, there's been lots of times that he's rode up. This dude camps out in a tent when there's 5 feet of snow on the ground. Him and his girlfriend are out camping.
Guy? You should invite him to the show.
He had a breakdown, so yeah, he's.
Okay.
Well, very long story, but he met his. He was mentally. How do I say this?
I don't know.
Not mentally challenged. I'm trying to find a word, but basically the guy had tried to commit suicide a few times. Went to grief counseling. I can't remember what the name for it is, what he called himself, but he's got a little mentally strung out. Well, he met his girlfriend at the same place that she was also mentally strung out. So he started dating, which, if you don't know, is probably the worst thing, to take two people that are clinically depressed and put them together.
They become codependent.
So, well, then they clinically depressed each other. She ended up committing suicide because he
Wow. That's bad.
he put her on a guilt trip, and she wanted to break up because he's always guilt tripping her, and he broke up with her, and then he wanted to get back for one last video together, and he guilt tripped her in this video so bad that she committed suicide. So then he got overly stupid again, and And I quit watching him because I'm like, dude, you're destructive. You have manic destructive behavior. I can't watch this dude. And he would be mean to people. He would like, he went on a tour, and this is what made me stop watching. He went on a tour to some mine, and he's asking this dude about the mine, and the guy's answering, goes, "What do you know? You're just some fucking old dude." You know, to this dude that he worked in this mine worked in the mine when it was active, and now he's giving tours. He just keeps mouthing off to this old man. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you, man? Why are you treating these people like this? And he commented back, oh, they're used to it. You know, people do this all the time. They're used to this kind of abuse.
That doesn't make it
And I'm like, yeah, that's not okay at all. That makes it worse. That makes it worse that they have to put up with all this abuse. So I stopped following the guy. He was kind of turned out to be an asshole. But yeah, but he did ride on snow tires. That was my point of view.
Wow.
I remember I went to AA for 3 years, and I remember them saying, don't date anyone that's in the program, because one, when you're there, you almost get, it's almost like a Stockholm syndrome. When you're going through trauma with people, you kind of bond, and that's the wrong kind of bonding to do, because all you can do is if one of you falls off the wagon, you're going to drag the other one down with you. Never date
Also, people with like eating disorders, the groups are the worst, because then people just make friends and then they binge and purge together.
Yeah.
Well, that's no good. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, the worst thing you can do is bond with somebody that you're in counseling with.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
I mean, you can be support, you know, I do like the peer support, you know, when someone is struggling that they can call another member, but relationship wise, it's really not a good idea if, you know, because you have to be responsible for each other. Like as a friend, you can help, but you're not 100% responsible for this person.
Yeah.
But as a partner, it hits different, you know? So, yeah, but I think the worst idea ever for group thing is always eating disorder, because like teenage girls go there and like they pretend they're fine, and meanwhile they're making friends that they can throw up with, you know?
Like cheerleader camp.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's so bad. I didn't experience that in cheer camp.
How did I know you went to cheer camp? Yay! Because you're so peppy.
I was a cheerleader. I'm proud of it.
So it is something to be proud of.
Yeah.
I saw a video on some chick that's supposed
I
to.
wasn't a flyer or anything, but I was a spotter, so that was cool.
I saw a video on a chick. She's supposed to be the hottest girl in America right now, and she's like, you got this 8-pack abs and huge muscles and stuff, and she's a flyer. And she's making the circuit. She's supposed to be the hottest girl in America right now. She's in college, and she's one of these flyers. And I'm like, I've never heard of this chick, and she's got like one of the biggest Instagrams right now. And I'm like, I've never heard of this chick. But
Nice.
you would probably know her if you saw her. You probably know her.
I don't know. I haven't been up to date with like cheer culture anymore in a long time.
Cheer culture.
You know, it is. It's a whole culture. I mean, it's like.
Oh, I know it is.
You know, there's camps, there's events, there's all kinds of stuff. And actually, one of the things, like when I was in my first year of high school, I actually we saved up for new uniforms, and we ended up having a bunch of money left over, which I don't know how the school allowed us to, you know, do that, because we had like a bikini car wash and the school signed off on it. And that is like so bad, because it's such a like potential for perverts to come and stuff, but whatever. So with that money,
Talk
we
about your
went to a cheer
codependence, yeah.
event. Yeah. So with that money, we went to a cheer event, and it was so cool watching these professional cheerleaders doing all these amazing things. It was just such a motivating team bonding experience. I loved it.
Where did you cheerlead at?
Huh?
Where did you cheerlead?
Oh, in San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah, at my high school.
It was all, okay, high school, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't like a professional cheerleader or anything. It was just high school cheer, but that would have been cool. I mean, I think if I had the opportunity, I probably would have done it for a little bit longer. It was so much fun.
High school days are, like
Yeah.
Rain said, you do all the
I mean,
stupid
there's
things
ups and
without
downs
thinking.
in high school, but that was definitely one of the ups for me.
I
Yeah, one
didn't.
that made me keep my GPA up just because I didn't want to, because you have to have 2.5 GPA, otherwise they kick you off the squad. You can't.
Oh,
Yeah, so I think cheer is probably the only reason why I graduated high school.
Ghost says, I know people who go to AA just to find dates. They're not alcoholics, they're just bad people.
Oh, that is so messed up.
Like wedding crashers or funeral crashers.
oh,
Oh,
well,
that is so messed up.
yeah.
There are so many better ways to find a date.
Have I ever told you the story about why I'm not in AA anymore? Why I quit going? So we would go. I was in the Navy, and we would go to different groups. We'd go to like the biker groups. We'd go to the lesbian groups. We'd go to the all women's groups. We'd go to the church groups. Anybody that was having AA, we'd invite. We'd call and they'd invite us in. So I went to one that was a biker meeting. And the topic, you always have topics, and the topic that night was what would normally make you drink, but now you're not drinking over it. And this guy goes, yeah, me and my old lady got in a fight, ended up stabbing the bitch, but I didn't drink over it. And I went, I think I'm cured. I think I'm better now. And that's what kind of made me realize maybe this is not just the thing. Stopping drinking is not enough. You've just got to become a better person.
Yeah.
And but on that same rung, I mean, I'm not that guy. From then on, I used to be the guy that go out. How much money do I have left over on Friday? I got $150. That's all. I'm drinking it all the way tonight. That's the guy I used to be. And after that, it was like, all right, I'm going to go out with $20. When $20 is gone, I'm going home, or I'll drink Dr. Pepper. I became the designated driver even after I quit going. Probably another 2 years. When I was on the ship, I was the designated driver because I just didn't want to drink anymore. After you've been the dumbass that can't stop drinking. You either learn from your mistakes or you let the mistakes destroy you. And I was like, yep, I'm just gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be the driver. Cool. Oh, they're gonna buy me food because I'm the driver. Cool. Oh, I get free sodas at the bar all night because I'm the driver. Cool.
Sure.
That was me.
I benefited. So
Yeah, I don't drink either, and Albie actually doesn't drink either. We didn't even drink on our wedding day.
Yeah.
I personally don't like the taste, and the only time ever like I would drink in my 20s was drinking with a purpose. The purpose was to get drunk, not to enjoy the drink.
yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah,
I drink for the taste now.
I'm kind of aversive to the taste. Just like a kid, a kid tries like beer or
Yeah.
something, and they're like, ugh, like I'm like that when still in adulthood.
Yeah, I drink things that taste good now. If I want a daiquiri or a margarita or some rum in my Coke or some whiskey in my Coke. Chasing Ghost says she never was a cheerleader, but she dated some.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
More.
All right, so tell me some more, biker girl. Tell me some more trips you've made. Since you were the late one, you get to make all your stories at one time. More rides that made you fall in love with riding. Here's one for you.
You're gonna tell me about my ride?
I'm going to ask you, where have you ever stopped on a ride and looked out and went, this is the life?
Sequoia. Just very recently, going up to Sequoia National Park and looking around. Or, you know what? Actually, on that same trip, we went to San Francisco and then to Sequoia on the way back. But going up the PCH, there was these elephant seals on the beach on one side. And then when you look to the other side, there's like grass, and there were just a bunch of elk. We thought they were reindeer at first. They're like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's like there's so much wildlife everywhere. And it's like usually when you ride, you get to see that kind of stuff, especially when you're riding far. But I think, I don't know, Sequoia was just so gorgeous. The way up, the way down, everything was so beautiful. Or, I also, there's the San Pedro Bridge here where I can't really stop there, but I try to catch that bridge on the sunset because when the sun sets, it's exactly in front of the bridge and you just see it. And while you're riding, you just see the sun setting, and it's so gorgeous. I mean, California sunset,
So have you ever been below the San Francisco Bridge? I've seen people go there.
Oh, yeah.
No, rode down into the like the side of the cliff, and actually under there's a museum down there, and I've seen two people go down there, and they say it's never not foggy down there.
Yeah, it's usually not never foggy in San Francisco in general, and getting like a picture where the Golden Gate Bridge is like completely clear is like a rare thing. It happens like 3 times a year.
Yeah, that's the one. If you ever actually got a picture down there that you could see, because it looks really cool down there if the fog would clear.
Yeah, I did ride a bike with my friend who came from Germany to visit me, and by bike I mean bicycle. We rented bicycles at the pier, and then we rode all the way to Sausalito. So we went over the bridge to Sausalito, and Sausalito is gorgeous. It is beautiful. So we rode around there, and then we caught the ferry back, and it was one of the best rides ever, and it was not even on a motorcycle. I actually put in the work. Yeah, I
So-
should have told that story when we were talking to the bicycle girl.
You were here. Well, you can tell her she's going to be here again, so you can tell her next time.
Yeah.
She said today she sent me a picture. Her shop was full of bicycles.
Well, isn't it a bicycle shop?
No, it's like it was loaded. I was like, "Hey, you gonna be able to make it in tonight?" She goes, "My shop is full." Let me see if I can find the picture. But she's like, "Yeah, my shop is full." She goes, "You can barely walk in here." So it was a good day for her. It was a good day for her today.
She must have had a lot of repair jobs going, right?
She probably had a lot of orders come in, and she's just probably putting a bunch of bikes together.
Ah,
Yeah. So here's she. If you've ever been on her Instagram, you've seen her shop. But yeah, that was her shop today.
Nice.
wow.
Just completely packed with bikes. Which, if you got a bike shop, that's what you want. You want it full of bikes. So they not only sell bikes there, they actually do maintenance on bikes. And so,
Nice.
again, we're talking about bikes that are between, $3,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. So these are bikes that get a lot of TLC. They're not just your regular beachcomber that's $110 from Walmart. These are some serious bikes. So they get all that love. Have you ever rode down Lombard Street?
No.
I got to drive it. We were in line for 30 minutes just to get on it, and then when we went down it, some dumbass stopped to take pictures, and the cop were on him in like 5 seconds.
My husband and I rode a lot in San Francisco, but actually no, I don't think we did Lombard Street. But we were in downtown. We were like financial district, market and stuff, and we went briefly to the Mission District. We went to Tenderloin. We went to see the Golden Gate Bridge. We took Van Ness all the way down. It's like straight shot. Yeah, but we didn't really go into like Nob Hill area that much. Yeah, but
So being from Los Angeles, how does it feel when you watch all these doomsday movies? How does it feel to know that Los Angeles is going to be the first city to get wiped out in America?
it is what it
They
is.
always show that. Godzilla, straight for the Golden Gate Bridge. Yep. 2012,
That's not Los Angeles, that's San Francisco.
2012 wipes. Well, hell, if a tidal wave hits San Francisco, you're going to go right there with it. Well, 2012, Los Angeles got taken out.
New York, though, don't they? It's always New York.
The meteors, the comets hit New York. All the sea creatures hit the West Coast. Because Ring of Fire, Japan, all that bullshit.
Yeah, but I'm saying like in general, movies always New York gets destroyed first.
New York gets frozen.
Look at I Am Legend. Look at I don't
Do I
know
have
any
to?
of Marvel and DC. Look at Planet of the Apes.
I guess you got a point.
All of those are just New York because New York has just such an epic skyline.
Well, I'm thinking disaster films, like end of world films. But yeah, I guess a lot of them are in New York too. Florida seems safe because it's always flooded anyway. You wouldn't know.
Florida, the people themselves are crazy. It is not
You wouldn't know if Florida got flooded. It's always underwater anyway.
seriously. It's just made of swamps.
Are you feeling any of these earthquakes that are happening? Earthquakes. There's like 5 times more earthquakes now than there were 10 years
I
ago.
don't feel it. I don't feel any of them. I am very dense that way.
No.
I've actually slept through earthquakes that were so strong that they have knocked pictures off my wall. And I woke up with just a bunch of pictures, broken pictures on the floor. And I didn't realize what was happening. And then I was told that there was an earthquake.
We lived in St. Louis. We had earthquakes, and one threw my wife out of bed because we live on the New
Oh my
Madrid.
God.
Well, we live on the New Madrid Fault. So one night she said that she thought the cats were fighting on the bed because the bed was shaking. And then, like a couple of days later, they had another one and it actually threw her out of the bed.
Wow.
They said if we actually have a real earthquake here on this New Madrid Fault, it'll wipe everything out within 50 miles on both sides of the Mississippi River.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Yeah, the biggest earthquake in America happened on the New Madrid Fault between St. Louis and Memphis. The Mississippi River flowed backwards for 2 days.
Wow. Are you serious?
I'm serious. Look it up. Look up the New Madrid
Sounds
Fault.
like such a biblical story.
It is. Well, they so it lives on a so the New Madrid Fault is a sand fault line. So you don't have lava, you have liquefied sand. And when the earthquake happened, when the plates rubbed against each other, it superheated all the liquefied sand under it, and there were sand geysers blowing 200 feet in the air. It put in some of the fields around here. You'll see there's still, when you're driving up 55, you'll see a lot of sand bars, like on the river and up on the land and in the farm fields and stuff. They said in some places there was 20 feet of sand deposited on top of the topsoil, on top of fresh soil.
No, that's deep. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was just blowing sand in the air like a geyser. Kind of like Old Faithful, but it was sand.
I gotta call my cat. He's outside. The automatic feeder just went up. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Because he's outside. He waits for me to call him to eat. So I'll just let him. You know.
Go.
I'm gonna put myself on mute.
Okay, go.
Yelling, Dinah, Dinah.
Okay, go.
Speaking of earthquakes, we've had a few here, but real light ones. Remember about a month ago? Remember that meteor that came up and blew up here? Did you hear about that?
I read about a bunch of them up there. So
That
good.
happened. That entered the atmosphere pretty much right above me, and just off the shore of Lake Erie, and then it went southeast and went right past. I thought maybe my neighbor's tree hit on the house, because I heard that's what the sonic boom did on it. But yeah, we don't get many earthquakes at all, and they're real small ones.
I'm still waiting for the what's the caldera under Yellowstone to blow. That's supposed to go hot at any time.
Oh, that geyser thing?
Yeah, the big lava caldera that's underneath Yellowstone. They said Yellowstone right now is like sloshing around on top of a lake of lava, and the lava is working its way to the surface.
So how severe do they anticipate that thing once it blows?
It'll wipe out everything within 1,000 miles.
Oh crap!
They said that swath will be 1,000 miles wide and 1,500 miles long. It'll just swallow everything. If the best thing that could happen is that somewhere on the edge of the caldera, a volcano starts. Because if it happens in the middle, it'll all collapse.
Did they give a probability of it happening? Did they
Between
give, like a percentage?
between 10 and 100 years, it's definitely going to happen right now.
Oh.
The only thing that's holding it back is time and conditions.
Well, we won't be here in 50 years, so.
I hope. Well, I might be. I don't know.
Or maybe I'll say 100. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I at least got 45 in me. I got to make it to 100. So
Wow. Yeah. So we got New Madrid fault line, that geyser thing,
the caldera,
Godzilla. What's
Godzilla.
next?
Godzilla, dude, comets, ice storms. I remember back, and I'm sure you do, back in the 70s when they were saying we're going to have another ice age. The world will be frozen in 20 years. I remember that. I remember them saying by 2000 the world's going to be frozen. We're in the middle of an ice age and everything's going to freeze. And then within 10 years they were like, global warming. Everything's going to get too hot to live. We're all going to die. All the glaciers are going to melt. Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, the past few winters here have been pretty mild, actually. Other than this last one, we had a little more snow and some cold. But other than that, it's been the last 3 to 5 years. It's been fairly mild with less snow.
It's been mild. It's taking it longer to. So it used to get really, really cold here. We first moved here. It got cold in December, and then it got really, really cold January 1st, and then it got really, really cold in the middle of January, and this time it didn't get really, really cold. It's like the end of January. So it's almost like the seasons are moving. And of course, they're blaming that on the wobble in the poles. But yeah, it's like all the seasons are moving forward like 2 weeks every year.
I feel like, I don't know, it's summer already here. It's been summer since January here.
It got hot, and then it got cold, and it got hot, and then it got cold. So yeah, I had put away my winter jacket, and I put I took the liner out. I took my winter pants and put them away for my riding pants, and I had to break them back out last week because it got cold again. It was 36 degrees one of the mornings. I'm like, what the hell? The week before was 85 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
You can't win sometimes.
We get that here in springtime. Like the past couple of days, it's been in the 70s. Now tomorrow, this all weekend's going to be in the 40s and 50s. And then next week we'll hit 70 some, and then back into the 50s and 60s for I don't know, a week or two, or at least maybe a week. Yeah.
Yeah, it got back up to It got back up to 85 yesterday. It was 70 this morning, and then it started raining, and now it's back. I think it's like back to It says it's 78 degrees right now, but last week it didn't get over 60 all week, and now it's 9 o'clock at night, and it's still almost 80 degrees.
Just a roller coaster.
Yep.
Temperatures. Yeah.
Ride through it. It all this shit will eventually. Everybody's worried about weather, and we're abusing the atmosphere, and we're abusing the world. I had a guy tell me back and this is like in the early 80s, and he had lived through the Great Depression. He had lived through, days without sun. He lived through the snow in July in Missouri. And he's like, one day, this world is just going to shake us off like fleas on a dog's back. He says, we will never destroy this world. This world will take us out long before we take it out. And it's true. I love watching all these shows about past civilizations, and they're digging up these civilizations. And like 20 years ago, they were saying, the oldest civilization is 4,000 years old. And then one day they're out there digging in it, this same civilization, Göbekli Tepe, and they find a civilization under that one that was 1,000 years older than that one. And then they're excavating in that, and they find another civilization under that one that's 7,000 years old. And then they found a civilization in India that's 12,000 years old. So this world has shaken us off of it so many times now that it's like, we're not going to end this world. This world's built to survive. We're not. The world is.
That sounds like some George Carlin things that he talks about, the weather stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, he was under that. Him and there was another guy that used to talk about it. It's like, we're not going to affect this Earth. This Earth, we won't even know it's here. We're like fleas attacking a Dalmatian. It'll scratch us off, and we'll be done.
I feel like I'm going into clinical depression after today's session.
You know what you need to do?
Sorry.
Take a ride.
We talked about so much depressing stuff already, and this was supposed to be a fun podcast about like what made you fall in love with writing. Like, how can you go wrong with that topic? It's like the most positive topic ever, and you've managed to turn it into talk about suicide, clinical depression, how we're all gonna die and the world is gonna shake us off. Like, dude, what the heck?
It's like living in Los Angeles. You never really know how bad you have it. Because this one girl I know that lives in Los Angeles, she's always talking about how she needs like a heated seat and heated grips and shit. Because sometimes it gets down to 60. You've really got to live in misery to appreciate warm weather.
I like being spoiled.
And I know you do. You deserve to be spoiled, cheerleader. But-
I deserve to be spoiled.
So
Okay?
you ever watch?
Understand it.
Have you ever seen Gone with the Wind?
No.
We're at the end. So at the end, of course, she grew up in poverty, and she says, "As God is my witness, I will never go hungry again," because she's lived in poverty and gone days without eating. That's how I feel about the cold.
I've done that.
Yeah, but I feel that way about the cold because I've lived in places that was 30 below. I've lived in places that was 50 below. I was stationed for 3 months in a place where the wind blew 60 miles an hour. And I can appreciate warm weather now, much better than I did before. So
If you worked at LAUSD like I do, you would appreciate warm weather because the classrooms at Los Angeles School District, at Los Angeles Unified School District, are so cold. Freezing. They have the AC running not only in the summer but also in the winter.
I saw
I got guests. Hi.
a thing about Britain, and they're talking about this. Bristol is that they're geared up for the hottest summer in like 50 years, and it's like 70 degrees. And I'm like, dude,
How do you gear up for
we keep our AC higher than that here. I mean, so yeah, it's like 70 degrees there now, and that's the hottest it's been in 50 years in this time of year. And they're expecting an 85-degree summer. And I'm like, dude, I've lived in places where it was 140 degrees. It's like, you guys, you don't appreciate it. You don't appreciate it. Oh gosh, that looks good on you. We can't.
Is that one of those fedora
Sorry,
hats?
I'm
Is that
still
what
on
those are?
mute. I forgot to take it off mute. That was
Look better on me.
it does
Yeah.
not look better. I rock that so much better.
That's a Run DMC hat.
It's a what?
Run DMC.
Run DMC?
Yeah.
You don't know who they are.
I don't know who they are.
Girl.
I'm being judged right now because they're before my generation, apparently.
I guess you don't know what a Kango is either, do you?
I know what a kangaroo is.
Ask your friend if she knows what a Kango is. I bet she knows.
Lena, do you know what a kango is?
A Kangol? Yeah, it's a hat. It's like a specific type of hat. Like worn by a lot of hip hop artists and stuff like that.
I didn't know what it is.
She said it's a specific type of hat.
All the cool rappers in the early '80s wore Kangos.
Ah.
Kangos and Gucci shades.
Actually, they're called kangol.
Kango.
No.
Kangol.
Kangol.
Yeah, Kangol.
You said kango.
I'm Southern.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
Well, in a Southern accent, if you really try to stress that L, it sounds like Pringles. So no.
For me, if I'm in Germany and I come back from Germany and my accent kind of comes out a little bit, when I speak English, and my L's are not like L, they end up becoming like L. So I would be saying like kangaroo.
Do you ever, when you come back and you're trying to speak English again, you forget words even though you're trying to speak in English?
I don't forget words, but pronunciation is a little iffy.
We did South America, and it was Portuguese, Papiamento, and Spanish all the way around. Got back to the States. We went out to Po Folks, which is like a comfort food restaurant, and I'm trying to ask for coffee. And when the waitress comes up, I said, "Can I have some? How do you say coffee?"
Oh,
And she said, "Coffee? Yeah, coffee." And she goes, "Coffee? Yeah, coffee." And she's like, "Why did you have problems saying coffee?" I'm like, "I don't know." You get so used to fishing for the words you're trying to say that you put unnecessary pauses in there. Yeah.
you know how when you speak to someone who has a really thick accent, and it doesn't matter what language it is, you somehow start talking with an accent? Has that ever happened to you guys?
Yeah, because I learned. So the military, if we get embedded somewhere, they give you these like cheat sheets to learn the language. And so you try to, because if you sound like a foreigner, they treat you like a foreigner. So you try to get as close to the accent as you can. And I do that now without even thinking about it. And yeah. So yes. In short, yes. But people that aren't bilingual don't do that. They just start speaking louder. What?
Oh yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, I don't speak louder. I just try to stretch my words out a little bit.
Word like louder and slower, like that's gonna make a difference.
Yeah, I'm Spanish, not deaf. Yeah.
All right, guys, I think I'm gonna have to head out.
We're all gonna end it. We're been a little over 2 hours. Thanks for finally showing up. I mean, thanks for coming in tonight.
Hey,
I
don't be an honors.
I emailed you and I texted you and everything, trying to remind you.
I was on the bike. I was on my way. Look, this is where I was.
I believe
was
you.
At the National Museum of History, Los Angeles.
Okay, I'll give you everything. My favorite places to go are history museums and science museums.
Well, this one was kind of weird because some of the animals were like taxidermied and then other ones weren't. But there was like a weird leopard in there that didn't even look like a leopard, and I was like, okay. But the cool thing was there was a rot area. So there's like bugs and there's like dead animals in there and there's like bugs eating the flesh.
If you ever go to the Museum of Science and Natural History in Chicago, they have a old tiger in there from like the 1700s, and it is the worst taxidermy you've ever seen. But there were so few of these things that when they went extinct, there are no more. So a bad taxidermy job is one of the only 10 in the world that's left. So they display it. And they don't want to try to redo it because it was done so badly that the skins are fragile. So they can't even try to redo the taxidermy. So they basically put it in a nitrogen tank, charge the tank with nitrogen, pull the air out of it, and it just sits there. It's a horrible, and it's funny. It's almost like looking at something like a third grader drew. You know, it's just a really bad. It looks like Scrat from Ice Age.
Oh my god!
But there was one of the last surviving skins of this just type of tiger. So that's all they have. So yeah.
Does it say who made it?
No, it doesn't. It says it was displayed in a circus in London from like 1730 to like 1760, and it was. I think the Smithsonian probably saved it. One of these museums that was still around, and it's been passed from museum to museum, and now it's in Chicago. But yeah, and it's funny to knowing that this is an animal that went extinct 300 years ago, almost 400 years ago now, and they can't do a better job at taxidermy it because somebody screwed it up so bad that that's one of the last ones that exists. But it looks funny to look at, but it's an animal that's been extinct for almost 400 years, so they can't do anything about it. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and end this. Keith, you got any final thoughts before we leave? You're our newest guest. Give us your last thoughts.
Great to meet both of you, and I'll make sure that I stay positive so we don't bring any discussions down. I'll keep everything positive.
You're not the problem. It's Rainy that's the problem.
I got to remind you how miserable life can be sometimes. I mean, just to remind you.
I'm okay. I'm really good. I'm okay.
I am not okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sheila, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. You know what? I'm going to try to end this on a positive note. You know what? Life is good in California. Even with the high tax prices and the high gas prices and the, high prices in general. We have beautiful sun. The weather is lovely. It's nice and warm. We have the best sunsets in the world. And it's the best place to ride in all year round. So there you go. Positive thoughts.
Every time I think of California now, I'm going to think of that governor that screamed at her aide and told her aide to shut the fuck up. It's too funny. My final thought is this: it could always be worse. You could have to live in California. So, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell.
On my point here.
Yeah, I have friends that live out there. That's fine. So we're going to close it out with old number 6, that is now called Whispers of Dawn. So, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, share this with your friends, get some people in here. Let's make this an interesting place to live. So, until next time, be nice to each other.